Hello Capricorn, how are you? Welcome to your June 2016 love and general readings. Been shuffling here for a little bit. I am using a large deck, so the spread might look a little bit different. I'm going to read it the same, but just to make sure that everything fits on the table. So just FYI on that. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. A lot of black in this reading. The Devil, 10, and 9 of Swords. What's interesting about this reading is the second I pulled out this card, and then as they all sort of unfolded, was I'm getting an impression that this month you are just going to lighten up and have fun. Like, this month is about having fun. I think that you have been through a lot, okay? Maybe some of you have gone through a breakup. Maybe some of you have had or are, have had recently, a lot of issues in your relationship. But now I think you're just going to let it go. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse, though, in the very center of the reading, very much your energy, okay? Even a black horse, of course. So you have the element of not moving, of not making any commitments, not even really having any specific goals, okay, in terms of love. But that you're really just going to stand still and enjoy your life and not worry so much about what the future is bringing to you, not worry so much about what you need to do and what other people think of you, okay, which is kind of a, Capricorn is very much about status and importance and significance, and, a lot of times coming along with that is what other people think of them. And I think for the first time in maybe a long time or maybe ever, you're just throwing your hands up in the air and saying, you know what, I'm really just going to enjoy my life. Three of Cups speaks to that very, very well. Okay, it's about joy, it's about happiness and friends and social engagements, and it's also, because it's the number 3, associated with new life and new beginnings. And new beginnings is kind of a theme. It's a lot of cards represent new beginnings, and I kind of get tired of saying that word or those words sometimes because I feel like it's a little bit baseless. But at the same time, our life is full of seasons. And for me, this card is like, almost like women dancing around a maypole, right? It's a celebration of some sort, something happy, something exciting, something joyful, and something that speaks to us in a very lighthearted way. And sometimes just a state of mind can be that new beginning. Sometimes just thinking about and appreciating life and enjoying life really can be just a really refreshing thing to go through. Now, a lot of the toxicity in your life seems to be leaving. 10 of Swords reversed, the Devil reversed, and the 9 of Swords reversed. These are very dark and very dense cards, but all reversed. Everything, even the black of the horse, okay? The light, your life is being illuminated somehow. Something is bringing you joy. Some new appreciation for life, some new appreciation for your circumstances, for, maybe even your partner, okay? If you are in a relationship. But the swords are heavy. While they may be leaving, they still affect us, okay? And I'm not really seeing necessarily that you're in a state of denial, okay? That you're going out and having fun and avoiding some of the issues or some of the demons in your life or in your relationship. I'm not necessarily seeing denial, but I am seeing almost like masking a little bit, like you are, it's like faking it till you make it, right? These things, you know, they take a long time to remove. It's a lot of questions and fears and doubts. And, you know, this one card specifically is very much about feeling overwhelmed. I love the imagery, and I always think of put a fork in me, I'm done. Like, I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of expending any energy whatsoever on this issue, or maybe there's multiple issues. And in a relationship, it can really forge a new path for you. Okay, when you just decide to get things out of your life, things do start to lighten up, but it puts you in a way or a state of mind. It's like, well, maybe you've spent so much time in the past. Okay, even the devil, right? This is a card of commitments, and not always the best kind of commitments. In a relationship setting, it can be really heavy obligations, or, you know, a really strong sense of duty to yourself, to the other person. And sometimes your whole life becomes about that commitment, where everything and your whole purpose in life just becomes about this one thing, this one area. And it's so energy intensive, right? Black is absorbs everything, all light, all color, and all energy. And I see you deciding or removing yourself from that. If you are in a toxic relationship, someone that you, maybe even an emotionally abusive situation, or a situation where your partner just sort of steals life from you a little bit. Or even if you're totally single, this could even be an indication of you identifying so heavily with being single, and that singlehood is your chain, okay? And identifying and relating and making your whole life about maybe even not being single, and putting so much energy, effort, and emphasis on that you just sort of let other areas of your life go. You forgot about feeling happy and enjoying moments and enjoying friends and things like that. So while there is an element of letting go, which is really, really positive, just know that it does take time, right? Because when you identify so heavily with something or some area of your life, you feel lost without it. And you can mask it with joy and happiness and going out and having a good time. And I think that you should. But again, it's not going to completely eliminate the issues. And these are things that must be worked through. They must come out one at a time. It's a process. Swords take a long time to acquire, and they take a long time to remove. So while you're going out and having fun, don't completely ignore some of the things that you're dealing with, some of the things you're going through, because then sometimes it can make them deeper or take longer to remove. Interesting, you kind of have a lot of, reversals here. The Two of Cups reversed. Some lack of communication, some broken messages, maybe some, again, not being on the same page. I feel like you and your partner, which is signified here with the Queen of Wands, or someone in your life that's important to you, could be a husband or a wife, or a boyfriend, girlfriend. And if you're not dating anyone, it can speak to just the people you're dating in general. You're very much on different paths, or you're very much on different wavelengths here. Okay? You're not looking at one another. You're not engaged with one another. There's something that's broken a little bit. And this personality, okay, your partner might not really be the most empathetic. They might not really strive to understand you, might not really try to... They're just going to let you do it. Okay? I'm seeing a very independent situation here, right? Your partner has their own agenda. They're doing their own thing. They're moving in their own direction, their own path, their own goals. And you, I think, are a little bit broken, and not to be rude, but, you know, being in reverse, okay, things just aren't right. You're not your tip-top shape, okay? You're dealing with things. You're processing things. You're moving away from things. This may indicate a split for some of you. It may indicate, you know, a disconnect or lack of being on the same page within a relationship. And I think goals and dreams and things are being morphed. They're being changed. And you just might have different ideas of what you want out of your life. The moon and the hermit speak very well to one another. We have a star here in the hermit's lantern, right? And stars are our guides. The moon, they're celestial entities, right? They're from the heavens. They guide us. They show us the way. They illuminate our path. Stars are very, very dim. The moon is very dim compared to the sun, right? And sometimes we head into an unknown area of our life, an unknown, unexplored. It's scary, it's mysterious. Sometimes it's exciting, although for you, I don't think you're quite excited about it. I think you are, in fact, worried about it. And while there is the promise of it leaving your life, I kind of am sensing that you're on the cusp of it, right? Like you're just starting the process of moving into a new realm, finding new appreciation for life, finding new levels of happiness for yourself. And this is about you. Your partner is here, your partner is present. I'm wondering if your partner is causing you some of these issues, right? The swords here pointing directly to her. And even her being represented as a Queen of Wands reversed, like I really think that he or she is just charging ahead and might even be moving forward without you. You are here, you are stuck, you are maybe happy being where you are, and finding that, again, that new appreciation of life and finding joy in the small areas of life, just being alive, and again, not quite having a goal in mind, whereas she's on a mission. This person is going to move forward with or without you. And that in and of itself may cause some tension. That in and of itself may cause this unknown in your relationship. Where is this really going? Can you work through some of the issues that you might be having? Can you find peace and solitude together? Can you meet in the middle somewhere? With the Two of Cups reversed, I'm sensing that there are issues with finding that resolve, that there are issues with finding compromise, finding that peace, finding that middle ground. It's not an equal playing field right now. I'm not saying that one is more strong than the other. You're just in two very different places. And it might send you spiraling into this hermit phase, which is a very existential, very philosophical, questions like, what is my purpose in this universe? Why am I even here? Why am I on this planet? And why do I exist at this time? And what purpose does this issue have in my life as a whole, right? You're looking at this from, light years away, and you're you're trying to hone in and trying to figure out what it's all about. What is this life for? I think there's going to be a gigantic shift for a lot of you in your own personal philosophy for life. This person here, I think, is focused, I always see like a businesswoman when I see this, businessman, businesswoman, someone that is just like a really quick start, moves forward, gets things done, has an agenda, has a purpose. But for this person, that state of existentialism is very challenging because it's not tangible. And even though this can be a very big picture person, big picture in terms of other things like building a business or, building a family, okay, it's more minuscule. It's not so grandiose. And they have goals, they go after them. And they, we all have our hermit phases. It's very common. I just think there is going to be some disconnect. Now, let me pull out some more cards because I'm not seeing, resolution of anything at this point in time. So let me kind of see what else comes out. Yeah, see, the Four of Wands, stability, foundations, roots. I think that's what you are doing in your life. You are creating stability for yourself. You are finding your place in the world. You are embarking upon scary new journeys where your entire life purpose was significantly challenged in some way, and it was you had some type of adversarial confrontation with someone or something, some situation in your life. And now things are working themselves out and you are able to find your footing. Okay, sometimes it takes standing still and just listening and just being open to what you feel is right and being open to ideas and open to, and allowing yourself to work through things and not, ignore their presence, but to work through them. Five of Swords reverse. I love this. I hate the swords, but I love them in reverse because it means you're getting rid of these things. Empty battles, things that you were fighting for, things that you thought were important, they're no longer important. Things that you are striving for in life, they're changing, they're morphing. Is it more about people that you love and surrounding yourself with people that care about you, that you care about, that you get along with, as opposed to maybe fighting all the time or, and just finding that sense of peace within you and within your life and maybe making some pretty major decisions about how to really move forward in certain things. I'm kind of sensing this Knight of Wands is more your energy, okay? I do think this person might be someone important to you. This might be someone, prominent in your life. Again, not on the same page though, but maybe compatibility, maybe a good relationship, but still Knights and Queens, they're good matches, but there's just a difference. And I think right now you're just feeling like you just want to lighten everything up. This isn't a very light energy. It's very demanding. It's very has high expectations sometimes. All queens and kings do. And I think that you aren't willing or ready, or you have no desire to live up to anyone else's expectations right now. And there's really no need for you to want to do that. Knight of Wands is a fun character. He's fun, he's outgoing, he's interesting. People want to be around him. And I think for you, with this, you have a lot of fun energies here. For you, that is important for you to just be magnetic, to be charismatic, and not with purpose, just because you genuinely feel that. You genuinely want to just go out and have a good time, and not commit to anyone, but yourself, and to dedicate all your time and attention onto rebuilding something that maybe you've either lost, or some area that was really, really affecting you, definitely in severe ways. And finding the happiness in your life with or without this person. There is not necessarily an indication of, there could be reconciliation here, but again, it's going to depend on you and your relationship and really where you stand. I think with the presence of so many swords, the key word here is honesty with yourself, and acknowledging issues, and it's sort of attacking them head on, not being afraid, but also not allowing them to control your life. Having fun, enjoying yourself while processing, while fixing things, and again, not allowing it to overrun. Okay, so talked too much already. Let's move on into your general reading. Okay. Knight of Wands again, reversed again. See all these okay. Six of Cups reversed. Let's begin there. There's definitely an element of longing for the past in this reading. Longing for times gone by, for times when things were sweeter and things were more pleasant. And sometimes as we grow up and we become more responsible and we acquire more responsibility in our lives, our problems get bigger. They call them quality problems, but they are still problems and issues nonetheless. And I'm feeling like you might even be feeling disconnected from something in the past, someone in the past. Again, it's not necessarily a love reading. We do have the lovers here, but I'm really going to speak to that more in terms of you and your connection with your personal beliefs, because those are really being challenged now. And with the twos, and even this is sometimes a card of choice. And there is that element of choice and choosing the life that you want. You're in your circumstances, sometimes things are in our control, sometimes things are not in our control. But there is, no matter what, a greater purpose. And We are meant to get where we are meant to go. Okay, and I think when you have an open mind, speaks very well to the hermit in that last reading as well. Having that open mind and like pulling yourself back away from the world, pulling yourself back away from the mundane and the day-to-day, and seeing it, like I said, from light years away, and really asking yourself, what do I want my life to be? Where am I going? What is this all for? Sometimes there is sadness, there are regrets as we change, as we grow, in business, in love, in, even financial issues. This can even be, it can speak to you in so many ways. Maybe money was something very important to you. Okay, career and finance, and you were all about going and helping your career and making sure your, your checking account, your savings account got bigger and bigger and bigger. But something happened, and now you're asking yourself, well, money's great, but if I'm not enjoying it, then what's it for? So I might as well go on vacation. Okay, not saying that you should spend your savings and go on vacation, but you understand what I'm saying, hopefully. And again, there is that draw to the past. We have two characters here looking backwards, looking, and I think you're being very observant, and I think you're not necessarily allowing your past to dictate your future. Okay, but I think there's something in your past that you're trying to figure out. Why did this happen? This thing that happened challenged you in ways that, when you have the Lover's reverse and speaking in terms of personal beliefs and the way you love yourself, okay, it can be, it can turn your world upside down, right? And when you head into something unknown, I'm not going to go so much into what this card means because I kind of already did, but like when you're heading into something so dark and so scary, when you're feeling so ungrounded, and when you are dealing with, now I feel like you are dealing with something. You're dealing with something that's a little bit greater than you, some force that's greater, that's stronger than you. And again, the Emperor is such a force. This could be a person, or it could be a situation in your life. Okay, something that is, to me, the Emperor is, I'm trying to think of like a Hollywood example, but I'm kind of coming to a blank right now. It's a king-like energy, prominent, important, and very present, but it is also demanding. And this person, this energy, this situation draws a lot of energy from you and the people around you, okay? And this is the person or the situation that you are having conflict with, that you are at odds with. This is your battle. This is your focus in life. You are searching for something sweeter, something nicer, something more gentle, more kind. And what you got was something challenging, okay? It speaks a lot to who you are. How you handle situations like this speaks a lot to your character. And not that, it's like I'd rather people not care about my character and just not have the issue, but it does make you better, okay? And sometimes these situations, this is a very petty and superficial card, right? Which means, to me, sometimes we place more importance on things than maybe we should or than is necessary, because in reality, it's not that important. We place importance on this. We place importance on this person, on our job, on our finances. We create that. We make it that way. And when these beliefs are challenged, you might realize the petty. For me, this card kind of speaks to like Wall Street a little bit, like the traders, people that trade, how they are constantly trying to get up $1. They buy, they sell, they make a little money and then they sell, and then and it's so like. But then you have the big time investors, right? Like the Warren Buffett, they invest for years and years and years at a time. This to me is like the traders. Just day to day, it's unimportant, it's insignificant. Those little gains, those little things that you get from the situation, those little moments of satisfaction, those little moments of victory, they're nothing compared to the grand scheme of everything. And this situation or this person, okay, you might be giving that day-to-day attention to. Okay, it's very much like the devil, the way I'm saying it, but you're giving that day-to-day attention, those little bits, and slowly over time, it does kind of, it does take away from you. And I think that is what is being challenged, that this obligation to something, this can represent your job, okay? If you're an attorney and you work at a big law firm and you are, working 60, 70, 80 hours a week or something ridiculous, that is your demon, so to speak. And the day-to-day hustle, the day-to-day importance of those emails and of that paperwork and of those signatures and of these meetings, like, yes, it matters, and yes, it is your life, and you do need to create a living for yourself and all of that. But I think, and I'm not saying quit your job, but that is what is being put into perspective, okay? Those day-to-day, the day-to-day drama that is our life. You are now seeing things in a very clear way. Your focus is honed in, okay? This is you connecting with a very honest place in your life, connecting with a very true and raw place. Sometimes it can be a little bit crude, sometimes it can be a little bit harsh, but sometimes you have to be there, okay? You have to start fresh. New beginnings. It is scary. You have the moon and you have the star and you have wide open spaces and you have curiosity and joy. You have something that you're excited about. You might not be the most focused person. Your focus now, I think, is on your new beginning. That, again, like I said, you're beginning the process, you're beginning the phase, or beginning that transition into something else, into new philosophies of life, and you might not have quite solidified what that philosophy is, and that's okay. That takes time, and I think there's going to be a lot of reminiscing in your life, reminiscing about people, about things that you used to do, that you used to love, and those are all going to be coming back to you, and they're all going to be a part of reshaping your life. It's like when I was little, I wanted to be a ballerina, right? Or when I was little, I wanted to be a singer, or I wanted to be an astronaut, right? And you're touching base with those things and those ideas that really made you happy at one time. You might be unfocused in the interim. You might be feeling fluttery and flighty and non-committal, but that's okay, because when you're going through such a substantial change and your belief systems are being, rebuilt, it's okay to feel and just allow things to happen naturally. Your belief systems is kind of a big deal, so it's not something you want to force yourself into. Again, change, swift change, things coming to fruition, you receiving messages or information about things, about this person, about the situation, about your work, about your finances, whatever. Receiving new information, and I think it's going to be information that you want. Indicates change, making that change. This is the tangibility of that change. It's one thing to just think about it and dream about it, and but it's another thing to actually make that change, causing you some discomfort, causing you some frustration, causing you lack of stability. It's kind of like you're pulling the rug out from under yourself. But in exchange, the universe will be incredibly generous, incredibly kind, and will provide to you and ensure that these scales are even. Ensure that whatever it is that you've been through, whatever it is you're going through, whoever it is that's in your life or whatever it is, that you will be in some way compensated or repaid for your trouble, for your strife, for your trouble, okay? That everything will work out okay, and that this feeling of feeling lost is in fact maybe what it is you're supposed to feel in order to carry you into this new season of your life. And to feel lost, especially for a Capricorn, feeling lost can be incredibly frustrating and incredibly scary, because you need that groundedness. You are an earth sign, you need to feel safe. And when you don't feel safe, it does throw you off a little bit. So just know that it is okay, and that the universe is working, and it will provide, and people around you will provide, and they will support you. There is an element of generosity in the world. There is an element of generosity in life. And the universe can be incredibly generous when you ask. You have to ask. Taking action and making change and realizing that this drama and this stuff isn't worth it. And you create your world. What world do you want? The universe says, here it is. Okay, it's very philosophical, very existential. There's a very high level concepts here, but it's good. Sometimes, there's always that ebb and flow. We go up, we go down, we go left, we go right. And sometimes we go up and we need to see things from a bigger picture. And I think that's where you are. And then when you're up there and you come back down, you'll be able to produce and be successful, more successful in creating the life that you want. So anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'm really happy to be here, and I wish you all nothing but the best. Thanks.